Hey. Julle dink julle slim, maar eintlik is julle dom.
Ek is nie dom ek.
Iemand sê vir my julle wil my nogal aankla by die gattas. Hæ?
Hey, vat iemand jou eie size man.
Sy laitie.
Los hom!
Wat gaan jy doen? Hæ? Een threat maak my nie bang nie. En niemand gaan julle Kom ons praat liewer oor 'n optrede vanaand, want dis die perfekte plek om 'n nuwe video te maak.
Jy's die expert. Doen jy wat jy dink gaan werk?
Cool. Ek gaan met 3 verskillende selfone, elkeen van 'n ander angle af, gelyk opneem.
Moet ek na die fone se lense kyk?
Nee, jy vergeet jy word afgeneem. Jy perform net vir die gehoor.
Basil het
Nuwe lewe. Reggie soek 'n nuwe lewe.
Kan hoor? Okay, what's up guys? I hope you guys are all well. Another episode of Zion's Corner here. There we go. I got my boy Reginald Hufkie here with me. Guys, this guy is super humble, a super humble gent. Child of God. He's kind van die Here, die man. And actor, rapper. You said I must just call him a storyteller, but he's so much more. A good friend of mine. We're actually just catching up today a bit, but I'm getting him on Zion's Corner. Reggie, I think this is episode 20 that we're running at now.
Yo,
My brother, hoe gaan het man? How are you doing?
I'm good, my brother. How are you, man? Thank you so much for the opportunity. 20 episodes, that's amazing.
Yeah, brother. It should have been more, but you know, life gets in the way, and then you get caught up. So now I'm hoping to push the 4 episodes at least in a month, you know, minimum 4 months, and at the end of the year, hopefully get to a bigger number.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, but I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah. Nah, I can see you good, brother. You look good. You look good. My brother, Reggie, man, thank you, brother. Ek sê vir jou dankie, bro. Kyk jy, ons kan hom Engels Afrikaans gooi. Ek weet ons albei is bilingual, verstaan jy?
Yes.
So we can throw it in English, verstaan jy? We can, but I think for the English audience, because a lot of the audiences, we have a bit of an international audience as well. But wanneer ons switch Afrikaans doen, dan kan ek maar net die subtitle ingooi vir as die mense nou nie verstaan nie. But my brother, man, thank you for your time, and I know you're a guy that runs on a bit of a schedule as well, a tight schedule with your acting and, you know, with your gigging and, you know, all sorts of things. You're still going to get into what you're busy with. But my man, welcome, man. Welcome on Zion's Corner. Welcome being here. Yeah, my man, I just want you to tell me a bit of your backstory, Reggie, man. Reginald Hufkie. Reggie, aka Reggie Peace.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about your background, where you come from, and yeah.
Yeah, so I'm originally there from PE. But I've been in Johannesburg now for like 11, or I think this is my 12th year this year. But I moved to this side in 2012. But I'm originally from PE, now known as Berga. I grew up in Shorterville there. In the Crabs. Yeah.
The GQ.
Yeah, the GQ.
Bye, man. Nice bye, bro.
Bye. But I grew up there in a community called Shorterville, a colored community. That's the first 13 years of my life. And I would say it was interesting growing up there for me. It was hard, but it was interesting in the sense of seeing people strive for better in spite of how hard life is. Like in a lot of the colored communities or the black communities in South Africa. That's not to say that people in the white communities don't struggle or, you know, don't suffer. But there we're talking about my reality was poverty, unemployment. Our parents didn't work, you know, so we struggled. Both of our parents didn't work, and then you put with that you put a bit of, and it's more coping mechanisms, I would say. If you don't work for years, bro, you'll start smoking and drinking and all of this stuff to cope with this
Yeah.
void that you feel,
All the
this
elements.
pain, emptiness, because you don't have purpose, basically. So I think that's what happened with my parents and my father and I don't think my dad had like matric, or I don't know that much about my mother's background, but I don't think she had matric either. And when you don't have matric,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible to make it in South Africa. Yeah, without a matric,
Mm.
it's almost you can't even get a
I
job
understand.
at, I don't know, Checkers, Shoprite,
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
life was hard. We stayed in that small shack there at the back of our grandmother's yard. Um,
Sure.
and we were five there. It was my mother, my father, and my two brothers and I. And they were
Yeah.
I don't believe there's bad people in the world. I believe
Mm.
everyone is born good, and then
Yeah.
circumstances and stuff makes you bad in a sense, or makes you choose a darker path, you know. And I
Mm.
think that is also what happened there by us. So eventually, my mother and my father got into like, the abuse of alcohol and drugs and all of that stuff, and that made it hard then for them to be there for us as kids, because they were focused
Yeah.
on their reality, their way of coping. And I mean, the only money that they basically got in was from my father doing like garden work. My father used to go, cut people's grass, or used to paint, but that was like now and then.
Yeah.
And my mother also
Yeah.
didn't work. And so there was a lot of drunk vibes, a lot of neglect involved, a lot of, all of that stuff that goes with growing up in that type of community, people hurting
Sure.
and just looking for ways to escape. And that is what happened with
Mm.
them. But they passed away, when they were like, I think,
Sure.
40 and 42. That's like young. And I
Sure.
was like 12, 13, 14, around there. But I think they did it. It became too much for them, the life, for anyone. If you
Yeah.
struggle, bro, I always tell people, now it's nice. Like, people can always motivate and encourage people. That's why I'm very sensitive, actually,
Yeah.
to go when I do talks and stuff like that. To just go and say, "Hey, come on,
Yeah.
you can do it. Don't give up." Well, I know you've been through struggles, but bro, if you've been through struggles for 15, 20 years, it's difficult to motivate and
Yeah.
to just tell that person, "No, pick
Yeah.
yourself up and go." It's difficult. I mean, if
Yeah.
you've been unemployed, say maybe
Not
for
even,
5 years,
Tony Roberts.
then it's hectic.
Mm. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Reggie. Yeah. I mean, for the listeners or the viewers, people that will take this message in, bro. It's a very. I mean, I've heard your story before, bro, but it still strikes me, bro. 12, 13 years old. I mean, how old were you? The oldest? Are you the oldest of your
Well, I
brothers,
was the middle
or
one. We had a
were you
younger one.
the?
So imagine the younger one. He was like 7 or 8, 9, around there.
Sure.
So for him,
Can't even imagine.
that's like,
Yeah.
that was hectic,
It's yo, bro.
you know.
And I mean, and from that moment on, like I mean, you guys were really struggling before that. Like, what was the process after that? I mean, did you guys move to family? Did you guys, where did you guys go to? What did you guys do after that?
So my younger brother and I, we were sent to a children's home. But look, my mother passed away in 2004, and then the next year, 2005, in December, my father was still
Yeah,
alive. But he was like sad. His wife was his wife. He loved her like a lot.
of course.
He gave his
Mm,
everything. He committed to her. He's a big lover. And He, but he was broken-hearted, so he basically gave up. So we were sent to the children's home in
Sure.
December that following year. And we were like in the children's home for like 2-3 weeks and then he passed away. So it was, it was
Sure.
those 2 years was hectic. But look, I talk of Shoreville and like that's the community where I grew up. It's not all bad that happens there. It's
Yeah.
even with any community,
Yeah.
any there were good memories. There
Yeah.
was laughter, there was fun, dancing, singing, and but
Yeah.
as you like, then the negative starts taking over. It starts taking over your mind, and because it affects you everywhere
Yeah.
you go, it affects you in school. The kids tease you.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
it affects you in society. I don't think people understand how poverty affects kids or affects anyone. It makes your self-esteem so
Yeah.
low, bro. You're like worthless. You feel, and then on top of that, people tease you, they break you down.
Yeah.
Um, it makes you
Yeah.
even worse. The bullying. I'm sure you know about
Mm.
bullying and how that affects the kids, your self-worth,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but
Mm.
that said, sport. I mean, in short, as my escape, I fought hard, man. I played soccer, rugby, cricket,
Yeah.
athletics. I did
Sure.
anything just to show, hey,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can
Yeah. And
do
I get
something. And I know you
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
hectic
No,
sports
brother.
background as well. Where did it start for you, though? Was it
Yeah.
also in moments like that when you were a
Yo,
kid?
brother. Yeah. Yeah. Just to first touch on a few of the things that you said before I tell you a bit of my sport thing. Like I mean, yo, bro, like it breaks my heart, man. To know that not just poverty, but the circumstances, and the community. Wow, your upbringing obviously shaped you, and molded you. But what I can hear so from your community, from Shoreville, that it sounds like that was a big part of shaping your career and where you are today. With the art and the culture and the music. Because maybe if you didn't come out of that community, you wouldn't have been the person you are today. So I think also that thing of it takes a village to raise a child. So I think the community and what you guys went through there played a big role in who you are today as well. Um, so I think obviously you have to take the good with the bad, man. And I hear what you say about the motivating. Like you get all these motivational speakers, and everybody's a motivational speaker today. But if you haven't experienced loss, man, like lost close to you or gone through something hectic, like I've lost my parents as
Oh yeah, what I wanted to say about the community was that in like a lot of brown communities or the colored communities,
yeah,
or the black communities in South Africa, or I think everywhere in the world, I
yeah,
think people like I know people see it as dangerous places. It's
yeah,
as these dangerous places. They don't ever want to set foot there, and
yeah,
but there's good people there. I believe like 90% of the people are good. There's a
yeah,
there's just these bad elements that's coming
yeah,
in, like
mm,
gangsterism, and I would say it's more escapism as well. People want to escape or be a part of something, be a part of
mm,
groups. Look, I'm not like
yeah,
for gangsterism and all of that, but what they
yeah,
give the kids is they give them belonging, but
yeah,
they they will tap into the dark side of the
yeah,
kids. And
yeah,
now imagine just so I believe there's good people. I come from that. I mean, my running started when I was like 7 or 8
yeah,
because of the people in the community. I started running
yeah,
when I was because there was a
yeah,
guy, Godfrey Goliath, and there was the teachers in Shoreville where I grew up. They came and they
sure,
took us, hey, come run with us. And we went to go
yeah,
run. There's coaches
sure,
there who want positive stuff. Um, I wrote something, or we wrote something the other day, Herschel Benjamin, and he's just like, the parents won't just say, I want what's bad for my child. No parent
Yeah.
ever wants that. Everyone wants good. You
Best,
know,
yeah. You want the
everyone
best.
wants, no matter the community, everyone wants good for, so there were a lot of angels in Shoda, even
Yeah.
today, that I'm grateful for, man. So that good with the bad, there's like a
Mm,
small percentage of guys who bring in the violence, or who bring in the crime. But the majority
yeah.
of people want peace.
Yeah. 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 No, I can attest to that, and I agree to it 100%, brother. In our communities, it's sad, man. The elements, the drugs, and the violence, you know. But it's like you say, it's a sense of belonging, and the thing is, because the little kids, they look up to the guys that are in power, the gangsters as well, and because they have money, they have power, people respect them, they basically fear them. But at the end of the day, those gangsters is also somebody's uncle, father, child, that type of thing,
Mm,
nephew. So yeah, it's also a thing of they also fell into that trap, man, of
mm,
thinking that's the only way out, and I mean that's it's a negative mindset, man. But the thing is, it's also a bit of a snowball effect, because or chain reaction, if I can say so, because they look up to the gangsters of old, the ones that came before them, and there wasn't role models like I would call myself and yourself, like guys out of the communities that you can see that actually came out of the communities and was able to become something, and I mean the many other guys as well, I know like Eddie
mm,
B comes from the bar as well, there's Alfred Adrian, just to name a few, that come out of the bar that I think is guys that I can look up to, that somebody can look up to, that said, listen here, they came out of the Eastern Cape, or they came out of, I was actually listening to a podcast with Alfred last night, and he was saying how he was also bullied and teased at school, as being a chubby kid, and he used that as a coping mechanism to become funny, and use that, as a defense.
mm,
But yeah, brother, back to the question that you asked me about the sport, bro. Yeah, nice sport was for me. I can still is today training and health and fitness, man. Has always been something that's been a part of me, man. And it's also, I won't say it's been an escape, but it's been a tool that I use, just to exert energy. I didn't really tell the story yet, but when I was in grade one, my grade one teacher, they wanted to put me on Ritalin, you see, because they said, nah, this boy is too energetic. And they
mm.
called my parents. I was geroepen naar die school toe. And the way my mommy was, she was just like, nah, listen here, just, you must stimulate this child, man, because this child wants to do physical stuff. And the moment athletics started and we started playing soccer and rugby and all kinds of sports, and then they could see, okay, now listen here, when even with athletics, you could see now I was standing out, out of the blocks. I was in it, like I was the quickest in my grade from grade one until grade seven, and they couldn't beat me, that type of thing. So, and I was just multi-talented, and I loved sport. I loved the just that camaraderie,
Yes.
the cheering, the friendship, the team dynamic, man. And then obviously rugby came, and then it was like 7 years old. I told my parents, hey, ik wil bij hem doen, ik wil spelen.
Is it? Yeah,
Ik wil een
see over
speel
there.
ja,
Yeah.
7 jaar. Yeah. So I always share that story, and my parents, they supported me, brother. Like my family supported me. They knew, man. They knew that nah, this was what I loved and what I'm passionate about. So I'm very grateful for my upbringing, bro. I can't to be fair, Reggie, I can't relate, bro, to a guy like you. Like I must say, can't relate. I put myself in your shoes, but my bro, my family, the way we grew up, man. Like by the time I came up, bro, we had everything, man. I had, bro, my parents gave us everything they could. You see, I can't relate to a house of violence, alcoholism, that type of thing. I can't relate to it because it wasn't in our house, man. You know, we went to
Mm.
church. My parents took us to church, even though I didn't always want to go in the morning. But bro, we grew up ja, dit groot geword in 'n kan ek sê 'n beskermde omgewing, man. Verstaan jy? Baie
Mm.
beskerming. No, we grew up in a white area, bro, like predominantly white. So, ek, even you know, even I can't relate to what happens in the colored areas, but you know how it happened. Like when I grew a bit older, and I went to high school, and then just how it happens, then I become friends with guys that come out of the colored areas. You know, that come out of the, you know, out of the woodsman here, and
Mm.
then but I find myself now. I start walking around there. I go visit them. I go see where they stay, and but then I'm like, yo, nah, I feel it, man. You know, I'm with my people, and like a guy like Rashul. We both, it's a
Mm.
mutual friend of us. Rashul took me to his home first time. Yo, bro, I look, yo, bro, Russell, stay here, bro. You know, that type of thing, man. In my mind, I just assumed everybody was the same, you know. Amal Komait,
Mm.
middle class, you know, that type of environments. Um, and then I come there and I'm like, yo, bro, you stay here. And you know, yeah, I'm sharing this story now with you, but obviously it's part of his own story, you know.
Mm.
And we walk into the house. Now I see the house. I say, okay, nice. Looks like a nice house. Now we're walking. Now we're walking past the house. Now we get to a Wendy's, you know, like a shack. Um, and then we go in there, and then he says, "Nah, we stay here." I'm like, "Yo, bro, you know." But that, I mean, today Rashul is one of my best mates, you know, and it was
Mm.
never of circumstances, you know. My dad always told me, he said, "Yo, Jair, the friends that you make, man." I just say, ik heb een hart voor een voeltje met een gebroken vlees. Understand?
Mm.
So my dad always said that, listen, yeah, with all the friendships I make, it's people, I won't say that come out of broken backgrounds, but it's just, I have a love for all kinds of people, man, you know?
Mm.
So,
You must tell Russell I'm keen to write his movie one day when he's ready.
yo, brother, that will be a blockbuster.
Lee van
Yeah,
Spanjeman, bro.
yo, brother. Nah, I'm getting him on soon. We're doing something soon, me and him. Yeah, he's close to me. I'm seeing him this weekend. It's my birthday this weekend, so he's gonna come through.
Oh, is he there
Yeah,
does he live in Paul now?
nice. He lives here in Cape Town side, Pero.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
But yeah, man, hey, I
yeah,
think, but for me, I would say, like, when sport came in for me, yes, there was like these bad circumstances and everything. But then I went to school. That was an escape.
yeah,
It was an
yeah,
escape, but when you also get bullied, so you go from this one setup to this other setup where they also break you down. But it wasn't bullying all the way. I stood up. We
yeah,
stood up, to the gents
yeah,
and yeah. But like for me, sport started when I was 7, and that became my biggest escape. I started running.
yeah, yeah,
Now that I think of it, it's like running, running away from my issues. Running away from stuff at home. I didn't know it then. You don't know it at that age. You don't
mm,
know it like, hey, I would rather. Then now I'm like, when I go run or they take us, what they did is the coaches, Godfrey Goliath, Stan, um,
yeah,
Alec Leo, um,
yeah,
Darren Goshi, all of these people, these like for heroes for me. Those are the true heroes. And my aunt and them, they would come and take us sometimes on weekends, especially when there's races. So they would take us out of the community. So we would go
yeah,
to the white neighborhoods, Summer Strand,
mm,
um,
yeah,
Walmart, Newton
yeah.
Park, Mount Pleasant, all of these places. So what
Nice
now that I
place.
think back is like they exposed us to
Yeah,
different
yeah,
environments, to different
mm,
possibilities. They showed us, hey, look man, this is possible.
yeah,
Reggie,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
live in a house like this. You can,
Oh
yes,
yes.
we went to race there, but it's like you can start touring the country. You can,
Yeah.
athletics can take you out of the community. You can do
Yes.
something
Yes.
bigger with your life. So I just kept on
Yeah.
running. I started when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I never won a race.
Yeah.
I wasn't good. We like what people don't understand with like poverty and stuff is if you don't get fed well, if you don't, you'd go run hungry, bro. You run hungry.
Sure.
You run on that rugby
Yeah.
field or the soccer field. You barefoot. You can't
Sure.
afford the basics, you know. But
Sure.
I made sure I pushed myself. I finished my races, bro. Barefoot through the streets, bare PE, going. I think I got like my first pair of like proper running shoes when I was 14 in high school.
Sure.
It was like
Sure, bro.
7 years after I started competing, you know.
Sure.
But
But you were in
I
like
think,
Zola Buttman, huh?
yeah,
Like
like
Zola
yes,
Butt.
The Zola Bud story is there, bro. There's so many Zola Buds here in South Africa and in Kenya,
Yeah.
everywhere. Die manne en die
Yeah.
meisies hardloop. So, but then I was an average runner. I never won any race for like 6, 7 years. I
Yeah.
would like, but I think I just kept on because I wanted to bring something home to my mother and my
Yeah.
father and the family. They could see eventually I
Yeah.
became a Reggie the athlete, Reggie the sports
Yeah.
person, Reggie,
Yeah.
you know. Then they started seeing like something positive might this dude might take a positive road. And I loved that. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just continued and I was just Reggie the athlete throughout
Sure.
throughout
Nah,
school.
yeah, not really, but obviously, brother, that shines through, man, to your personality, and who you are, the type of person you are. I mean, that's how we became friends as well. I remember that time I was playing Varsity Cup, and then we just saw like I just saw this guy with his big afro walking around the track, but walking fast. You do that speed walk.
Race
I was like,
walking.
hey, bro, yeah, the race walking. And I mean, if you look at the guy doing it, it looks a bit funny. So the Zendo always laugh at. Hey, little guy, whatever. And then I mean, later on, just you look quiet and stuff, but obviously later on when we started talking to you, engaging, and becoming friends. I realized, this guy actually has so much depth, man. And when you shared a bit of your testimony that time in your story, I just knew, nah, this is a guy that I can. I mean, like we haven't spoken in how long, bro? But then we just reconnected, and it's almost like we're just picking up from where we left off, man. And that's a testament to a character, a great character as well. Mr. Rich, there's a few things that I kind of that I want to find out about you. We covered a bit of your sporting background, and then moving to Joburg, man, and your music and your acting. Obviously there's so many layers to you as a person. You can't just say, "Hey, Reggie the athlete," or "Reggie the artist," or "Reggie the poet, the rapper." You have so many elements to you. It's almost like if you touch something, you can do it, and you do it great. You do it to the best of your ability. So just tell me a bit of your music and your acting. I mean, you've been a part of major productions locally, and you've been rubbing shoulders, with the greats, the legends, talking about meneer Borsie, meneer
Mm,
Borsie van Vethoek
yeah.
for the East Agents. That's my family, man. The East Agents. Je moet wel eens jou neef is hier so in
Ek
Stellenbosch.
gaan ja, jy mag sê.
Yeah, it can be, but yeah. So just tell me how that process. And I mean, the guys from I don't know this actor's name. You would know his name, but the one from Four Corners, the lead,
Brandon
Farrakhan.
Daniel. Ja.
Ja, ja, ik zie ze heeft met Farrakhan ook een paar goed gedaan. So, bro, how's that and the artistic process, man? Like I'm trying to just put in a few of the questions that I had lined up for you.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting, man. The thing is, I don't know, maybe people see this now, but we've been doing that. My brothers, all of us were gifted. My father played guitar, he
Yeah,
sang. My mother she drew. So those were their
Sure.
talents. There was my brother, my brother, they did b-boying, dancing. We are a very
Yeah.
artistic family. The family was a family of singers.
Yeah.
They played instruments in the house. The talent was always there in the family. My brothers, as I
Mm.
said, they were the dancers, they were the rappers. My older and my younger
Yeah.
brother, dancing, rapping, writing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
only started writing when I was 14. I only started acting when I was 14, when I moved to the children's home. So it started there.
Yeah.
Yes, sports took like the main stage in my life, but I've done it since I was like 14. So but the thing for me, it was always about, I was always inspired to tell stories. That's all. That's what
Yeah.
it's always been
Yeah.
about. If you look at my content now that I release, there's always like
Yeah.
an encouraging message, or there's always like
Mm.
something with every writing that I do. It stems from way back. But looking at where it is
Yeah.
now, yes, it started there. I moved to Joburg in 2012 after I got a scholarship. I
Yeah.
started race walking when I was like 14, 15, and that took me to heights.
Yeah.
I became like a national championship medalist in race walking in high school, and the children's home helped me. And that's when I got a scholarship to study at UJ, and I moved to Josie in
Yeah.
2012. That's when I got there.
Sure.
But when I got to UJ, the
Yeah.
first day, one of the first things that I did at UJ was to introduce myself at the art center. I got a sports scholarship, but I wanted to act. So I acted in UJ Productions, University
Yeah.
Productions for 2, 3, 4 years. And I think my first TV role was I played like a I was there for like one scene in 2014, no 2013. One scene in a
Yeah.
SABC in I
What
played
did I
in
do?
two SABC productions,
Yeah.
two and Single
Yeah.
Girl.
But
No, I was like of course I was the typical. They would cast you as a colored gangster. The one was in Single
oh,
Girls. I was just that dude there.
yeah, bro. Yes. Yeah.
And but after that, in 2014, that was when I actually got. So now it's like 10 years from today.
Yeah.
I was still in university. Then I got my first big role, so to speak, my Net movie. On Stories, it was
Yeah.
called back then. It's a movie called
Yeah.
Delilah. And I
Yeah.
was once again a gangster. Or selling his stuff on the street, and I.
But check it before you go further, bro. What is that stereotype of that they just cast us? Because Alfred was saying the same thing. They wanted to cast him as a gangster also, and then he said he declined it, because he doesn't want to see more colors put in those type of roles. But I know, obviously, if you come through, you the only one maybe there, or they casting a few guys, but you're the best one. So now they must take you, and obviously you want to build your career. I understand that, but it's the same like the Americans that they going now on about the men in the dresses, So that type of thing. Why you put a black man in a dress, The same like
Mm,
with a colored guy, give him a gun and.
Yo, I think it has to do with the way people have always seen like our culture, and that
uh,
um but that's not to say that it's
and we
not
violent.
happening.
We're not
It
all
is
violent, man.
happening.
Yeah, we can fight, but we're not violent. All of
Mm.
us.
No, but even a gangster, he won't just randomly come up and shoot or kill anyone
Exactly.
unless you provoke
Yeah,
and you do something.
yeah,
They won't just randomly
yeah,
come up to you and do stuff. But I think for me, it. I don't know, man. I think I had a conversation with an actor on Generations once. I played in Generations for a while, and we've had this discussion about this. But they call
yeah,
it typecasting, and where
yeah,
basically they just cast you as this specific. And then he said, no,
yeah,
don't have a problem with that. Your point now is to just get into the industry.
Yeah,
Your,
yeah, yeah.
you must just
True,
get
I
your
can
foot in the
relate to
game,
it.
you know. So
Mm.
just
That's
get your,
almost like, sorry
yes,
to break your word, man.
no,
Like
no.
if you get like the same with the rugby players. As je vinnige wingers, as je vinnige dan speel je wing and you
Mm,
call it. You know, it's almost like that type of thing, man. Like colors, we can be more than just wings. We can play flyer also. We can play scrum half center. We can play any other position. But because like you are known, if you quick, you win. You know, why
mm,
can't you be a quick flyer or quick inside center? You know what I'm saying? Which
mm.
would actually make it so much better because you can break the line from the middle of the field. You know that type of thing. So it's kind of similar to that.
But if you look at, I mean, all like every major production, even now, I see even the more senior actors are tired of that now.
Yeah.
They're getting tired
Mm,
of that because they don't want the same narrative to be told. But
yeah.
looking at where we
Yeah.
are now in our
Yeah.
industry, it's changing. The narrative
Yeah.
has changed. It started changing
Yeah.
slowly but surely. Look at Said Ooster. Look at
Yes.
Aaron's play, for instance. There you have teachers.
Yeah.
There you have
Yeah.
lawyers. You have
You
shop
know.
owners.
Yeah. 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 You see people in positions, in society, higher positions, and that's actually a beautiful thing that you're touching on with Saint Ooster and Aaron's play. It's a diverse course, and it's not like Sewende Land. In Sewende Land, dan praat al die colours, hulle praat almal baie mooi suiwer Afrikaans, jy weet.
Mm,
But in Arensvlei praat jy praat soos jy is en yes, salam alaikum en yes, Buddha and whatever and awe and massacres and whatever. You can speak your own accents, you know what I'm saying?
mm,
So I think that's the powerful thing of Arensvlei and I mean kudos to the producers and the writers and the guys that's putting in original dialect, I would say, van as jy van die Noord-Kaap is, dan praat jy soos die Noord-Kaapenaars. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So you can't get somebody in Arensvlei and he's from Uppington, maar jy praat nie soos die Uppingtoners nie. You understand?
mm,
So yeah, a guy from Joburg in Arensvlei, hy moet klink soos 'n Joster, you know what I'm saying?
mm.
So so I
But
think
look
that's the beauty of
of the
Arensvlei and
game.
St. Joster.
But look, I've grown. I started there. I got that role. But now, 10 years later, um, 10 years later, I am
Yeah.
just last year, for instance, I like there's been a lot of growth, of course. I finished university, I moved to
Yeah.
Stellenbosch for like 2 years, two
Congratulations,
and a half
brother.
years. Then I came back to Johannesburg. I'll touch on that now, but it's like 10 years later, I play like last year, I played a nerd, like, you know, I play a
Mm.
computer geek, I play
Sure.
a a bar manager or I play in the his
Yeah.
field, for instance. You play the factotum, the guy who takes care of everything. I can play a
Yeah.
mechanic, and yes, the
Yeah.
gangster roles, it's always there, but and soon I'll be playing a lawyer, a doctor. Soon I'll be playing, but for me,
Yeah.
my heart, the type of stories that I want to tell is can touch on that gangsterism, but
Yeah.
but how did they become a gangster? What's the story of the
Yeah.
gangster?
Yeah.
What's the background
Sure.
of the gangster? Not just
Mm.
to show that hey,
Sure.
this is a gangster, but this gangster has a child that he's taking care of, and the mother left. Or
Mm.
maybe like stories like my father's
Mm.
story, knowing that if you don't have matric, you're basically doomed in South Africa. It's almost impossible. That's why a lot of people go in that
Yeah.
direction. But the type of stories that I
Yeah.
want to tell is sports stories. It's very conscious stories. I'll even touch on
Yeah.
that gangster stories, but with a different twist. Um, and
Mm.
and comedy stories. I think there's a lot of in the pain and in the trauma, there's a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yes, 100%. I mean,
darkness.
yeah, and that's basically yeah, and that's almost like yeah, like laughing through the pain, like you have to laugh about it, man, to be able to get the story through, get it across, because like if like what I shared with you about my story with the mental health and being in therapy and in a psychiatric facility, that type of thing, it's topics that people, some of them, they freeze up a bit, when you talk about it. But the thing is, it's a story that needs to be told, and you need to tell it in a way that it's funny and relatable.
Mm,
That's why I asked you to assist me, with the process, because I know you're obviously the expert, you are in the field. So I think that would definitely be one that I would love you to portray in your way, from your point of view. I mean, like, how can you not make a thing funny? But I tried to buy a Rolls Royce, bro, at that time when I was many, bro. I, bro, a Rolls Royce. I don't know if you know, a Rolls Royce cost more than 7 houses,
yeah.
and I tried to go do that, and the guys were just laughing at me when I came in there, but they were still entertaining me, man, and just stuff like that, bro. Conversations with a lady that I had, and I believe she just told me she's from a faraway place, and I believe she was an Indian, you know. So stuff like that, bro. Like, it has to be funny, bro, but it's actually sad, but it can be funny as well,
Mm,
you know.
that is it. But look, now I've
Yeah,
grown until this point. But one thing that I wanted to say in our industry is that 10 years is an overnight success. There's that well-known
sure.
saying. I don't know who said it, but someone said it for our
Yeah,
industry. 10 years. You under the
sure.
ground for 10 years, and then when you get in 2019, um I got my major role on Generations The Legacy. I matriculated
Sure.
in 2009. So it
Sure.
shows 10 years. Yes, I
That's
went through
that's
university and all
insane,
of
bro.
that. In 2009,
Yeah,
2019, I got Hazlielefeld. That's when I started work. I got those two
sure,
a couple of months apart. I got into
sure.
the industry more and more. Even
Mm,
with my music,
yeah,
bro, I've been writing since I was 14. I'm turning what 31
sure.
this year, 31, 32. Um,
33,
but I'm like,
32, yeah.
yo, it's been 16, 17 years of writing music,
Sure.
of
It's
of
been a
trying
it's
of
been a
expressing
lifetime, bro.
myself, but the world
Yeah.
hasn't broken yet, or maybe that's not my purpose, but
Mm,
it's just that
yeah.
it's years, bro. It's not like now.
Yeah. You've been
Some
grafting.
people feel it
Been
happens
grafting.
now, but I'm in the game for longevity.
Mm,
And the movies that I played with, like Brandon Daniels, now Farrakhan from Four Corners, there was the Silver Serum
uh,
Fierce movie called Cowboy Dan. That was in 2018. I would
yeah.
actually say that was the one,
Yeah.
the just before Generations. That's when people saw me, you know.
Yeah. But check here, Reg, with how was it working with Mr. Farrakhan? Raymond, eh?
Right?
His name
No,
Raymond.
Brandon Daniels.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Brandon Daniels. Apologies. Yeah.
yeah.
How was that working with him and just his process? It's almost like working with Denzel Washington, of South African
Mm,
acting. I mean, he's one of the legends, one of the greats.
bro.
I mean, that role of him in Four Corners, bro, that's one that's
Mm.
iconic. I mean, it's a gangster type of role, that type of setting, but that story was amazing, and the character that he played as well, and the different layers of that character in that role. But how was it working with him and his
It was
process?
life changing for me. Because the thing is, we were only that thing wasn't
Sure.
shot like that was a short film for like 24 minutes. So we shot that thing in like a couple of days, 3, 4, 5 days, you know. But
Sure.
while we were shooting, he had like that guy. You must remember that at that time it was still people still knew him big time as Farrakhan and you know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and me of course. So I looked up to him, but then there were just times because he was number one on the script, I was number two, so I supported him,
Yeah.
and he, bro, he motivated me so much. I was depressed while doing that shoot. I was
Yeah.
depressed. I was down and out. I was
Sure.
broke. I didn't have any money, nothing. But I had to drive taxi, jump on a train there from Stellenbosch, jump in a taxi there from Belleville to
Yeah.
town to get to set. I was like, and then this
Sure.
dude took me aside and he motivated me, man. He just spoke like life over me. He just encouraged me.
Sure.
We've had like deeper, open conversations, and it wasn't
Yeah.
just a shoot. You know, that's how I think that is. He sees the best, man, in his fellow actors. He's just a
Yeah.
natural actor. Of course,
Sure.
he's a professional. The dude, he's very passionate. He
Yeah.
loves what he's doing. I don't think anyone can take his passion away. He loves the art, man. He loves the
Yeah.
craft. He loves the character.
Yeah.
He becomes that character, and I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I just had to step up. Like I didn't even see it as acting. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy with writing thing now, and I wrote there. It's like being a part of Cowboy Dan was like reality. I played a street
Yeah.
kid for me, and in my life at that time, I felt like a street kid, and that's why I could portray that role.
Yeah.
I felt down. Ek het laag gevoel, man. So laag soos die grond in my persoonlike
Yeah.
lewe. I fell down
Sure.
and out. And then I
Sure.
walked into that movie and I had to play a character who plays down and out, who's down and out.
Sure.
So I wouldn't even say it
Sure.
was like acting for me. It was like die man bly op die straat, die man sukkel hard, man. Die man, mense loop verby jou, hulle
Sure.
tree jou soos crap and and that changed my life,
Sure.
bro. And then at that movie, we went on and then to the festival, Silver Skerm Feest Festival. It's basically the biggest Afrikaans movie festival, film festival in the country.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were nominated, bro, for 6 awards. That's how good the movie was. We won
Sure.
2. He won the
Yo,
best
bro.
actor award, Brandon. And then we won best editing. So, but we
Yeah.
were nominated for six
Yeah.
awards, bro. That's how good the movie, you know.
6 categories. Yeah.
And that
That's
the next
amazing.
year,
Nice.
ooh,
For that, bro.
that was like, but that changed my life. It
Great,
changed
bro.
my perspective,
Check
and
it
it
out. You
changed.
know what?
After that, I was confident. I was hungry
Yeah.
again to get up, stand up, and just like go. But that's when I
Yeah.
decided maybe it's time to move, man, back to Josie.
Yeah. Yeah. Check it. You know what? And that's a whole topic for another day, bro. Because we're getting to the end of our session now. We're actually sitting much longer than I thought we were gonna sit. I thought we were gonna do maybe 20 minutes. We did 20 minutes before we started over. Yeah, but that's just the layers, man, and the conversation we can have, bro. And I mean, I would love to have you on again some other time. That we just open a different topic, because I mean, the topic that you just touched now with the actors, like you saying, you were struggling just to get on a taxi, get on a train. Maybe didn't have money in your account or on you or nothing, bro, to buy even a meal. And people don't see that reality of artists and actors, man. They just see the glamorous, side of it. You guys on the silver scarab or whatever. And you guys are receiving awards, but they don't know the process that it took for some of those people, to even just get to the scene like yourself, brother. So for that, my man, I just wanna give you your flowers as well, my man. And yeah, I just want to tell you, my bro, because obviously, yeah, we're getting to the end of our session, and before I give you your flowers, I just want you to give a word of inspiration, man. Just to the youngsters, the listeners out there, bruh, people that are pushing, trying to do something, to create something. What do you have as a Reggie for the people out
Bro,
there?
for me, I would say what I've learned now, man, lately, the power. Hey, who's that, man? Hello,
He came to say hello. His name
Coco.
is Coco.
Yeah, bro, what I wanted to say was that um, the power is inside of you. That, like, you are born,
Mm,
bro, the Bible, everywhere, it talks about um, everywhere, the Buddhists, the Muslims, whoever, they will, if you read this stuff or listen to all of these people, and um, I believe in God, of course, so, but the power is in
yeah,
you. God lives in you, through you,
yeah,
you know. That's why doing more of the
sure,
inner work, bro. It's like, if a quote
yeah,
that I heard someone or I read it somewhere is like, the best work that you can do is to work on yourself as a person. Yes, you can work on your
sure,
career, you
yeah,
can become the best sportsman, you can become the best artist, you can become the best actor or accountant, whatever your field is. But you can reach the top and still be
yeah,
an asshole. You can become
yeah,
the number one
yeah, yeah,
swimmer in the world, Olympic medalist, but you arrogant. You are you full of
yeah,
yourself, you
sure,
know. But if you work on
yeah,
yourself, you'll know that no matter how high you're climbing in life, if you are humble, you are at peace, you're doing this for a bigger
yeah,
purpose. It's not about you.
mm,
It's God loving through you. You are the vessel, you are the vehicle that is
mm,
being used.
sure,
That's why a lot of people, when they're at the top, they feel lonely, they are empty, you know, because it's about
mm,
them. Like this, what I'm doing, I've realized this year is not about me, man.
mm,
So I just want to encourage you,
yeah,
the people out there, do the inner work. That do the inner work, and your external world will change.
mm,
And that's what's been happening in my life. You deal with all your
mm,
trauma of the past, you deal with everything.
mm,
It's hard, man. You face all your darkness, you face, your pain of the past and everything. But do the inner work and you'll see how your life can change on the outside. You'll be a totally, totally new person, bro.
sure. Powerful, brother, man, powerful. Reggie, my man, I just want to say thank you to you, man. Thank you for taking the time out. Thank you for fitting me into your schedule for JR's Corner. And I just want to give you your flowers, my brother, man. Like, I want to celebrate you, and I just want to tell you, brother, keep doing what you're doing. You are inspiration to Shorterville, Dubai, the greater Western Cape, the greater South Africa, brother. For little boys to look up to you and to see, listening to somebody that looks like me, that's doing this, that's doing greatness, that's pushing his dream, that came from a difficult background, difficult circumstances, but your attitude is positive, and you said the theme of this message is perseverance. So you persevered and you're continuing to persevere, my brother, and I just want to tell you thank you, man, and keep pushing, keep working. My brother, we're still going to see you on the world stage, rubbing shoulders with the greatest of the greats. So I just want to tell you, keep pushing your music, your storytelling, everything. The doors will open for you, brother, and the Lord will open those doors for you going into this next phase
Yo,
of your
thank you,
of your
bro.
time
And
in your
the
life.
same for you, man. Just keep persevering and with the podcast, bro. And everything, you'll see. What's
Yeah,
that saying? Don't despise small beginnings, bro.
yeah. Yeah. Nah, 100%, 100%. I just love the process, bro. I was talking to somebody yesterday and just saying the process of creating, man. That's what I started, what I fell in love with, doing this. I also realized, yes, it's not about me. This is about who I'm speaking to and the message that person's bringing and giving the message out, and the story that they're telling, the story that they have. That's what I love, my brother. So this thing would never stop, and obviously it would just build on to different avenues as well. And I just want to say a last thing to my bro. Ik het 'n paar sponsors ook nogal on board gekry. Believe it or not. Ik het 'n paar mense wat kyk agter my. So it's my workplace, Marty's Gymnasium. I just want to say thank you to Marty's Gymnasium for always supporting me. And for the people that watch this, if they're in the Stellenbosch area, the greater Stellenbosch area, come join up by the gym, you know, come take a membership here by us. As jy die kant is, kom maak 'n draai by die gym, bro. And then secondly, Marty's gym firstly, and then yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to My Brew Coffee as well. My Brew is a coffee shop in Stellenbosch or at the gym. Um, so they also supporting me, you know, as in a collaboration fashion. Yeah, bro, that's about it. And yeah, the guys, whoever watches this video, like, follow, subscribe. We'll be sharing it on all platforms as soon as we get it out. And yeah, that's about it. I just want to give you an outro here. Me vergewe. This is my jump track, this meneer. Here we go. For better days. Old ways. Nah. Class, meneer. Class. My bro, safe man, Reggie. Thank you, my brother.
Dankie Heer vir nuwe lewe. Dankie liewe Heer, U het my vergewe. Ek was so lost in my old ways. Elke dag het ek met myself gestry en ek het gehoop for better days. Maar hoe kan ek verander met my old ways? Al wat ek wil doen is om 'n beter mens te word en om rid te raak van al die struggles hier in my kop.